Okay, people. Serious. I'm pretty sure it's the 24th of July. I'm converting that video over, and then I'm just gonna start working on Andre's shed today, people, myself. That's what's gonna happen. I told this Mark dude that I'm perplexed. Like, seriously. I told him in this tone, didn't holler, nothing. Explained to him, like I said, I've been in this yard 60 to 70% of my life, ever since I moved into this house, because of the weeds. Right? For the last 7 years. And that if you go down 20 feet, looking at that fence line there, and all you're going to see is garbage that's been sitting there for ever since I moved in. And then you go to those two fields, and what you're going to find are a couple of mattresses with a little bit of junk scattered around. And one of those neighbors that are really concerned about those walnuts being cut down pointed that out to me. I didn't think about that myself, but they said, why did they leave those mattresses there? They were taking rocks out of that field, people, before they put this fence up, apparently on Tuesday, to keep the homeless people out, knowing that they're going to probably sneak back in anyway. But they made sure that the mattress was left behind after they decimated all the trees. And they're going to let the walnuts rot. Even though last year I gathered up a lot of those walnuts and I gave to my neighbors and to the cop shop and to a government agency bags full of walnuts, asking those people to plant those walnuts so that those walnuts can, those trees can live on in other people's yards, knowing that they were going to be cutting down those trees at some point in the future. This year they're just going to fence it all up with these no-cut fences to keep the homeless out, even though they leave the mattresses behind. Right? For those $20 tricks. Or maybe somebody just needs to sleep for a night. Who knows? Who knows what goes on with those mattresses? All I know is somebody pointed out to me that the city purposely leaves them behind. They don't ask the property owners to go in there and clear out the fucking mattresses. Now, why is that? But they're coming in here and they're harassing me in my yard after they harassed me for a whole year, people. Scared the pants off of me for a whole fucking year over the front. Knowing that I've been working in this yard 5 years prior to that happening. So, sick or not, going blind or not, having a nervous breakdown or not, it doesn't matter. What I'm feeling today and whatever else I may need to do outside of, at some point, a little later on in the evening, I'm going back to the field where they decimated all those trees, and I'm going to pick up a few more branches while I have the chance so that I can make musical instruments or do some carving with my grandson or whatever at some point in the future, like normal people get to do in their lives, right? It's called a hobby. I'm trying to teach my grandson how to have a hobby so that when he becomes a man and he has to go through the things that I'm going through, for whatever reason, in terms of being targeted, maybe. He's already targeted. His grandmother's targeted. His toys are targeted. So why wouldn't he be targeted as a man? He's going to need a hobby. So when we start working with the wood, hold on a minute. So when we start working with the wood in a different kind of way versus building things with 2x4s and 4x4s and 1x2s and nails and all that other stuff, we're actually going to try and carve some things. And like I said, I'm going to make those hit sticks, right, for music, right? That's pretty simple to make. And because a lot of those branches are just perfect for something like that, just cut them, let them dry out, sand them down, stain them with our natural walnut ink, and then preserve them with the shellacs that I have around in my paint cans. Well, shellac cans or whatever. That's future after the yard is straightened up to the point where you actually have some free time to do that kind of stuff, right? So, like, my heart's going like this, people. Like, literally, it's going like this. I'm now going to have a coffee and I'm going to put on my work boots, and I'm going to go out in the back, and I'm just going to go get the skill saw, and I'm going to go get the extension cord and the nails and the hammer and the measuring tape, and I'm just going to work on Andre's shed by myself. That's what I'm going to do. I cannot depend on Jerry. It's obvious, right? And even if he did show up, I don't have any more money to give him, so, right? Behind on bills, especially CIBC Bank, Commerce, Visa, right? And, what do you call it? Get a bucket of paint and start getting ready to do some paint, so that the next time Mark comes by, at least he'll see that the shed is being worked on. But if they're targeting his toys that are being tarped up inside a sand thing, because they don't want that in my driveway in the back alley, because their purpose is to make it bare so that these people that are paying $1.2 million for a broken down house that nobody wants to fix because the taxes are too high, and the best way to get rid of the community activists is to harass them to death, right? Through threats and gaslighting and whatever. Because I talk about the medical kidnappings that are going on in relation to house sales on en masse that equal to billions of dollars for foreign investment that wants to privatize the healthcare industry to redirect a herd of elderly people into old folks' homes for profit. Well, the homeless people get dirty old mattresses left behind in fields after it's been decimated and gated up as a solution to end homelessness in the city of any city across the province of British Columbia, Canada. Because this is not an isolated incident. So I'm not going to dwell on that. What I'm going to dwell on for, I guess, every day until the city decides to roll up and take Andre's toys, I'm going to be up by Andre's shed. I'll do it myself. That's what I'll do. So before I start working on look at that. That's a wild bee, people. They like nesting in my yard. Before I start working on Andre's shed, you can see I started in here, and I was just starting in here, right? And I was admiring these plants and how much they've grown, right? Oh, this is beautiful. I wanted to work back here, but obviously I can't. I have to work on Andre's shed. Rick is building me a little cubby in there. You can see he's already started. He was going to come over today and apparently work today, because I told him I need him to finish that, right? Like ASAP, because I want to clear out the hen house, aka seedling room, so I can start putting things away, right? Here's that screen for Andre's shed. I got it ready to get out. I'll show you. There it is right there to wrap proof it. I was going to put that in here for the hens, but I don't need it in here. What I need to do is clear this out, but I don't want to move this stuff until I have it someplace out of the way where it's easy to get to as I need it. And then, what do you call it? Then I can put all the planter pots and stuff that I'm not using and whatnot, and I got some shelving and stuff in there, so that this room just kind of stays like this, where you're just kind of growing things, right? These plants just love it in here. Look at this. I have to put sticks on them, but I don't have time. I'll come in here and they'll fall over. All right, I have to go, like I said, and work on Andre's shed by myself right now. Look at these things. Actually, I'm going to give this a bit of water before before I, can you see it? I can't really see it in the light with the camera. They're kind of like growing everywhere, right? So, hold on. And when you're making composting, you want grass, right? I'm going to show you in a minute. So this is what the grass is for. It helps it to sweat with the worms and whatnot. Basic food scraps. The cardboard cartons. We have lots of mulch in there. Little bits of fine wood from it's just whatever in the yard. This is from stumps and pine needles and that type of thing. And then you just give it a layer, right? So you spread it around, and then as I'm in here continuing to do whatever I'm doing, maybe rake, put it in there. I'll be raking at some point, put it in there. But right now I'm having to build, people. I have to build. I have to do this. Okay, because if I don't do this... Well, I don't know about painting today, Andre. Nana's pretty tired. Like this is harassment, people. This is harassment, okay? This is harassment. So they want a clear driveway. You tell me how I'm going to clear this out completely to satisfy the city. In a day. Considering that the clock is ticking.